Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Criterion Connection. I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And today we were talking about a little movie that came out this week on Blu-ray DVD called Manila in the Claws of Light, directed by, I don't remember. It's going to be in
wasn't it like Luis Brashka or something?
I think that's correct. I think it's correct, but it's down there.
It's a Filipino movie.
Yes. This is maybe the only Filipino movie?
I don't know. It's certainly ranked as one of the most important in Filipino cinema.
Yeah.
Came out in, I believe, 75.
I think you're right there. Maybe 74, but I think 75, yeah.
I think 75.
Yeah.
It's based on a book.
It's kind of hard. It was kind of hard to get through, honestly.
Really?
It's kind of hard at times.
I thought it was fine. The pacing is it's deliberate. It's slowed, but it's it's constantly moving though.
Yeah.
I felt we're gonna kind of jump in.
Yeah.
So the Manila in the Claws of Light is about a young man who used to be a fisherman on his provincial island area, not a part of Maine, Philippines, because it's a bunch of islands. And his girlfriend absconds to Manila, the capital, I believe. I think it's the capital. I could be wrong.
So.
Please don't be mad.
She goes to Manila.
She goes to Manila, possibly the capital of the Philippines. But she goes to Manila for a job opportunity, and they're from a very poor, kind of village. So she goes, and after not hearing from her for a while, I think they get a letter, which is explaining later. They get a letter saying that she's missing, so he hightails it over there, and is trying to find her. And he's been looking for her for a few months by the time the movie starts. And he's poor, has no money, ends up getting a job as a construction worker who works kind of under the table.
And he's not treated really well.
No, and I mean, it shows a lot of how poor the city could be back then, and even for rural provincial towns, it's still it's still even if you're dirt poor in the city living in slums, you still feel like you have an opportunity. It's almost like an American dream scenario if you move to Manila. And in this whole time, he's just trying to get by and earn money to live so he can keep looking for his girlfriend, who is somewhere in the city, he believes. So
yeah, it's pretty much the whole story.
Yeah, it to me comes off as a very kind of new American cinema movie. Very much like Midnight Cowboy, which we just reviewed a few weeks ago.
I can see it.
In the very beginning, it has a very on the waterfront feel to me with the laborers and how everything goes.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
And then it turns and goes into a noir story at one point.
It gets really dark.
It kind of evolves as the movie goes, and I really dug it. You meet different characters. Some of them you like, some of them you don't.
And you generally
and people you cheer for, and times you're let down, because it's very. It shows that it can be very hard to break through, but some characters do, some characters don't.
Yeah, I'll say the main character you really do connect with a lot of movies, especially these days.
And
it's hard to connect to that one character. You feel for him. You don't have to be their best friend. You can feel for him.
And it's strange because he's very wooden in the beginning.
Yeah. I thought I was in trouble the first
what
20
are you
minutes.
looking for? I don't know. Where do you live? I don't know. He answers every question with I don't know, and then he slowly opens up to those guys, and then you find out that he's had other friends and comes across new friends and new career opportunities.
So in essence, the beginning of the movie is you meeting him for the first time, and he opens up to you as the audience.
Slowly, but yeah.
Slowly,
in a way.
Yeah.
But no, I really dug the movie, man.
It gets depressing a couple times.
Yeah.
Okay, I think
It hits you early, and then it eases off, and then it hits you again.
a little harder.
And then it eases off, and then it hits you again. There's that moment near the end where there's a bombshell, like, dropped. And you're like, oh! It's a bad situation, because, certain things happen, and he has an opportunity, but you're like, why wouldn't... this person take this opportunity real quick to get away from the situation they're in, and then the bomb drops. And you're like, man, it just gets to a bad time.
It's just raining shit on this character.
Yeah, and then the ending happens, which is nuts. And the very last shot is really interesting to me. And I really dug it. It sticks with you.
The close-up?
Yeah, the close-up at the very end. After everything happens, at that final climax, like, you see kind of the character accepting his fate, realizing what he's done, but still being, like, shit scared of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. It reminded me of, like, at times, like maybe just the fact that he's... The face he's making, like the really anguished, painful cry, reminded me of Ichi the Killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of really interesting things that you can connect this to, but it's not really exactly like anything.
Ichi the Killer is a really weird connection there.
It's a weird connection. If you know me, it makes a little more sense.
Well, yeah, but I understand in general, like...
It is an odd one.
That's like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. What's the 7 degrees of Manila in the Claws of Light?
But it has these different moments that remind me of things that I like. And maybe that's why I like the movie so much. Like, it is a very kind of new American cinema. You're just kind of on this journey with a character.
Yeah.
And that might not appeal to most people. What did you think?
I thought... Maybe it's because the time I watched it, maybe I just wasn't connecting to it as much as you were. Now that you say the stuff you did, I can see where you're coming from. I just thought, like, the pacing was a little slow, but I do appreciate that they just didn't, like...
It's sluggish to begin with.
They didn't drag you into the mud every single time. Like, like, from the start of the movie, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a movie that's going to literally drag you deeper and deeper and deeper into the mud. But there's times where you drag him in the mud and then he gets out and he's out. I do appreciate that, because if they didn't do that, man,
yeah, it's not like
I would be in that bed just
It's not like a whole, like, descent and then just, like, drag you face first on broken glass on asphalt.
That's what I was figuring. Luckily they don't do that. They ease up a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah.
If you're expecting a fun movie, this is not it.
No, it's not...
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know about you.
It's not a very, I think, like, general American kind of movie.
Like the environment?
Because, and I just watched a quick video essay on American comedy versus British comedy by Now You See It, a channel on YouTube. Check them out. Unsolicited plug. And it's just this... American and a lot of American films have this inherent hopefulness, and it makes those movies really hard for, I think, an average person to watch.
Yeah.
Like, that happens to me all the time. Like, if I'm sitting down watching a movie with my dad, he's like, how about something not sad? And I go, that's most of the movies I have. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry
this movie is not, like...
I'm sorry to watch a Manchester by the Sea, Dad. I'm sorry.
We did watch that.
Yeah, I thought it's not one of my favorite movies of all time.
No.
But it's
not one of my favorite movies
I'm
either.
just saying, like...
I really enjoyed it, though.
It was good. Yeah.
It's one of those times where we almost audibled away from it.
Yes.
And then we realized it was on Filmstruck, and we were like,
Yes.
let's do it. And I'm really glad we did. It's not one of those times where we audible to something that was much worse
Armageddon.
to put me through.
Female Trouble.
You know what's funny? I watched Armageddon not too long ago. Again, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen.
I'm not saying it was awful. I just don't want to close my eyes and I don't want to fall asleep. So buy, rent, or skip?
I'm going to say, for me personally, it's going to be a buy. I'm going to get it at some point.
I bet the supplements on the DVD are pretty good.
I haven't even checked.
Well,
I haven't
really
even
released.
checked. I didn't even look. But for me personally, it's going to be a buy. And for people who like those kind of movies that aren't necessarily going to be the most hopeful tales in the world, and you enjoy a lot of that new American cinema that had a little bit more cynicism in it, things like Midnight Cowboy and all that.
Yeah.
I'd say it could also be a buy for them, but I'm going to say Rent. It's definitely worth watching, especially if you want to get in multiple cultures of film. This is, like we were saying, it's heralded as one of the best Filipino films of all time, and after watching it, I totally get it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth watching at least once. Plus, the language, for a long time, I thought they were speaking Spanish, but it's not Spanish. It's called Tagalog or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's a Filipino language that's like a confluence of a bunch of
Hey,
things.
you learned something.
Yeah, but it is very similar. So
Yeah.
you might pick up on a few words. And they speak English at random times.
Yeah, like I'll say Rent.
Yeah.
Maybe on the first viewing it just wasn't for me. Maybe it was the mood I was in. Maybe it was like late at night. I don't know what it was. But from what you were describing, I'm like, I should like this more than I do. So maybe I'll do a second viewing, but I'll say Rent for now. Yeah. It's on Filmstruck, so watch it on Filmstruck.
Definitely.
But I will say, I'm glad we watched this and not Bowling for Combine.
I'm glad we watched this and not Female Trouble.
I like Female Trouble. Maybe I'll do an episode without you.
I just can't, man. It's just every John Waters movie,
maybe
aside from like Hairspray that I've seen, it was Serial Mom was good. Like all the ones from like the 70s just keep like hurting me. They hurt me. Wait.
It's not as bad as Pink Flamingos.
Pink Flamingos and Multiple Maniacs, which you made me watch, hurt me. Wait.
Female Trouble's much better.
Because I like John Waters. And it
Female
hurts
Trouble
me to not like stuff he did.
Female Trouble is more leaning towards, like, he's close to going to Hairspray and Crybaby areas. That's what Female Trouble, it's like the pivotal point, I think.
Maybe at another time, man.
Maybe I'll do a solo
It just
episode.
hurts me. It just hurts me every time.
But that's our thoughts on Manila and the Claws of Light.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So let us know in the comment section below what you think.
Yeah.
I love how everyone is commenting and trying to have a conversation, doing the suggestions. We are hearing you. The suggestions are being piled out. We're just picking the right time to do it. Next week there might be an episode. I am going to be out of town next weekend when we record these. There might be a new episode next week. I'm not sure. No promises, but there is awesome. If there isn't, well, the next week after that, we'll give you 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So, but the next
we'll figure out a way.
The next movie we're doing is El Sur, which is coming out on Blu-ray next week. Yeah, next week. Trying to think of the schedule. It comes out like the 3rd week of June. I forgot what month this was. So we're doing El Sur. It's by the guy who did
another new release.
It's by the person who did Spirits of the Beehive.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I never watched it. So
yeah.
This is going to be completely new. I'm going in blind.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see this because, frankly, the whole month, this was the one I was like, yes, this one.
Yeah.
New releases, this is the one.
You heavily favored this, and I never heard of it. I knew this one.
Yeah.
Because you told me about it when it was coming out.
And the other 2 were Bowling for Combine and...
Those 2 I actually heard about before we did this.
I mean, I've seen both movies, so... And honestly, I don't want to do Bowling for Combine for the simple fact is, like, it was a tragedy.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age where school shootings are all the time, You know what I mean? Like,
unfortunately, yeah.
So maybe it might be interesting to watch now. I don't know. But let us know in the comments section below. Should we do that movie? Say it down there. Should Joe do Female Trouble?
back me up.
Hey! You put me
Please.
through Salo.
Pete,
You put me
please.
through Salo.
I didn't put you through. They did. They put you through Salo.
I don't blame you because I'm not gonna blame the fans. So let us know in the comments section below.
You asked for it, and that's what they gave us.
Be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell so you get all kinds of stuff. We got a new show like MCP Soundcheck.
Yeah.
Talk about, I almost said film. We talk about albums.
Yeah.
Music albums.
Music.
We're going to venture out of rock at some point.
Mm-hmm.
We're just doing the ones that we want to do. And then we're bringing back anime talk. We talk about anime.
Mm-hmm.
This one was Fully Cooley. It was me and Scott talking about Fully Cooley.
And in anticipation of the newer shows, the one that started and the one that's coming up.
Yes.
I forgot which title was which.
Progressive is the new one.
Progressive is this new one.
And then alternative.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so let us know. Just let us know. Subscribe, hit that bell, get all that stuff. We do all this for you for free.
Yeah.
Free 99, as they say. Well, I guess that costs 99.
I hate that phrase.
Well, I'm going to say it. This is free 99. Freemium.
Freemium.
I said freemium. Okay, never mind. Okay, I'm going to end this episode. So until next time.
Get your freemium content here, right here on a Condish podcast or productions.
Yes.